First thing you want to do when you cut any wood is have a really nice sharp blade. And mine is really old, and I'm actually missing some of the carbide teeth tips on it. It still seems to cut softwood, but we're going to cut some oak here to do a gate repair. What you want to do when you're cutting wood is make sure your cords are unplugged. Pull the trigger, okay? And then you want your blade to be just a little bit deeper. Set your saw on there. You want your blade slightly deeper, loosen that up, than your material. You don't want it too deep, because if it's too deep, you're going to cut anything below it really bad, but it seems to cut better just a little bit through. And if the blade happens to grab or catch and come back at you, you have a little less to be cut with. So we're going to go ahead and lay our saw on its side. We're going to plug it in. I don't suggest using a dull blade. I've got some clamps on this end by Irwin, quick grip clamps. And I'm not going all the way through it. And I left it unclamped on this side purposefully so I don't cut too much of that bottom wood. So let's get this going. Are we on? Or are we in the picture? Here we go. Make sure your blade's going. And I'm only using a section of this. I'm not using the whole thing. And what I got to do, I got a line here that I've already put with my pencil. So we're just going to follow that line. I cut her on the, we still got our thumb. Okay, just to be, I was going to say to be safe, I'll turn the saw off, but right now I need to cut a length. So while I'm clamped down, and that's good, while I'm clamped down, we'll go ahead and cut this where we need it. Got my blade set really well. It's hardly cutting into my wood at all. And we're going to take off this little edge right there. Just set that on there so I don't cut my wood. Again, I don't need any specific length. Always start your saw before you touch your material. You could see with this oak, this is white oak, it kind of burned it a little bit. I love the smell of burnt oak. And that's it. Okay. Alright, now that we've got it good and secure, we're going to go ahead and drill into it. 3 holes, probably 3, and we're going to countersink the oak because it's really hard. So we want to get our Phillips head out of there on the magnetic bit holder. That I always use a magnetic bit holder because it can hold your screws easily for you. So we'll go ahead and drill this. Tighten up our gun. Get a couple good holes in here. I don't want to be too close to the wall. This edge will be next to the wall, so I'm going to put them in here on an angle. Didn't want to drill into my wood, so I'm drilling off the edge. And I'm drilling on an angle. I'm drilling on an angle of the dangle so I can get in a little deeper. I want to stay close to this edge, but I want to get a lot into where I'm going in. Okay, now what we're going to do is get that out of there with my twist lock. Put the countersink bit in. Tighten her up. I'm countersinking this because the oak doesn't absorb the screw like a pine or a soft wood. So it just makes the shape of a funnel-headed Phillips screw or whatever you're putting in there that's not flat. Screw gun's coming apart. Helps it sit in there better. And then it's nice and flush instead of your head sticking up. Okay, so we'll